He filmed a
When he
lot.
watches sport at night,
Not always, his phones.
Once upon a time, there was an individual who was causing problems. Suddenly, this individual who was making really personal remarks towards the local Sully. As it went on, the individual would follow group, but what wasn't known is what would happen next. The violence he was using towards the group would be nothing short of embarrassing. However, in a twist, the individual would be driven to his police cell. He would spend the rest of his life behind bars. The next day, the group would come forward and they would get on with doing the things that they wanted to do. Later afternoon, the individual he would be charged, and the individual whose name is Carlo Stewart, he would be sentenced for a minimum of 25 years in Cardiff. Carlo Stewart, who spoke with a Cardiff accent, the next day the suspects who would buy some really nice clothes from Primark. However, it wouldn't go right for all the right reasons. The staff at Primark would overcharge the suspects. The next day the suspects, they would go to work, but what wasn't known is what was going to happen next. Sully, the employer for these suspects, they would for no reason send these suspects home for no reason. Sully, there was a real concern for these people, as the employer who was named as Dello Scott, his boss, would have a meeting with him, and Dello Scott would be dismissed for his actions for sending the suspects home when the suspects had done nothing wrong. The next day, Dello Scott appealed the decision, but he would lose his appeal and he would be on gardening leave until further notice. The next day, the suspects, they would return to work and get on with the jobs that they had to do. But in a twist, Dello Scott appeared from out of nowhere. Sully, the police arrived onto the scene, and Dello Scott, he would be arrested and would be put behind bars. Later that evening, the suspects, they would spend some quality time with their partners. They would watch television. The next day, they went out shopping. So they went out shopping and they bought the ingredients that they needed for the food that they were going to have in the evening. The next day, they went to work and they would have their tea, and then they would settle down for the night, and watch television. The next day, they went to work and got on with the jobs that they needed doing. Later that afternoon, they would have they had their lunch before they would continue on doing the jobs that needed to be done. The next day, they would go on a really nice walk. They would walk on the hills before they would settle down for the night with their loved ones. The next day, they went to work and they went out to eat at a really nice restaurant. The next day, they would go bowling, and they would go and watch a film at the cinema. Later that evening, they came home and found something didn't look right. They realised that there was some items missing. It was not clear what had happened, but something did not look right. The next day, there was an investigation as to what had happened, and it had turned out that their house was broken into when they were out. Later that evening, they got on with the housework that needed to be done. The next day, they went to work they went to work and they got on with the task that that had got to be done. That day before they would drive to the supermarket to buy some shopping. They would get the food shopping that they needed to get for their weekly shop. The next day, they all met up and they would have a cup of tea in Costa before they would make their own ways home. Before they would make their own way home and spend some time with their families. The next day, they would go to the seaside. They would go to the amusements and then they would have fish and chips by the harbour. Later that evening, they all met up and they would go out to a bar and have a drink. However, what was not known is what would happen next. There would be some individuals who would cause real problems for these people. The language that they were using towards the people, it would be nothing short of shocking. They were causing so much problems for these people that they were using really personal remarks against the people who all worked together doing the same job. The next day, the individuals who were causing problems, they would be put behind bars and they would spend the rest of their lives in their prison cells. The next day, these individuals, they would go to work and they would try and get on with the jobs that needed doing, and not worry about the individuals that they were causing that were causing real problems for them the following night. The next day, they would play some card games, and then after they played card games, they would sit around the campfire and they would have hot chocolate before they would settle down for the night. The next day, they went to work out to do another day's work. They had a lot of work that needed to be done. However, in a twist, the security guard had to escort someone out of the premises who were trying to get into the premises. The following day, the person would come back. However, he would be handcuffed, and the police would arrest the individual. And this individual, they would be driven away, and they would be put behind bars. Late afternoon, the suspects, they would have breakfast, and they would have sail for their breakfast, and then they'd go to the allotment and do work on their allotment. Later that evening, they would go to the amusements and they'd win a scratch card. The following day, individuals booked some time off work, and they'd go on a really nice holiday. They'd go to the Canary Islands and they would enjoy the sun. Later evening, they checked into their accommodation and then they went for something to eat. The next day they would go in the swimming pool and they would go swimming. Later afternoon, they went to the beach and then they would go swim in the sea. Later evening, they went back to their accommodation. The end. Sam Jenkinson.